Hello and welcome to level 74 of the Thoughts and Players podcast, the gaming podcast with full takes and no strings attached. I am Jeremy. Here with my two compadres, of course. I have David.
What up?
And I have Corey.
Good evening, players.
Good evening. Good evening. Gentlemen, how are you doing?
I'm really refreshed.
Good. Good to
Good
hear.
for you, David. Good for you. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm doing fine. You know, regular old Corey over here. How are you doing, Jeremy?
Doing all right. Really glad that whole gastro issue is behind me now. Just to follow up, I know people are interested. Just putting it all behind me, so we're good to go. Leading the path forward.
Best way to go about it.
Exactly. Started from the bottom. Now we're here, right?
Yeah, buddy.
There we go. But ladies and gentlemen, chickens, ducks, and hens, we're glad you're joining us for this edition of the pod. The pod that's a gaming pod, as always. This has been since its inception, I guess. So let's get into it, huh? Let's talk about some games. Anybody want to offer what they're playing first? I can't go. I have a very concise list.
Oh, we're jumping to it quick. All right,
We are jumping into
I'll
it
go.
quick.
I'll take it. Now, you guys heard the story of the hare and the turtle, right?
Yes.
Yes, I am steadily the turtle
Nothing?
right now when it comes to
Ooh.
playing games. I am so slow and steady. I'm afraid I might never beat these games. I may never. I played
I feel that.
4 or 5 more hours of Final Fantasy 16, and it's
Mhm.
been great.
Mhm.
But I see the hours that I have to play. It's like a 55 hour, especially since I've been doing all the side quests. And it's
Mhm.
like I'm 10, 11 hours into a 55-hour game. It's very daunting. It's very
is.
daunting.
It is.
But fun. It's a fun game. Put another 5 hours into Zelda, maybe. I haven't done any of the main quests. So like if I started mainlining the game today, it would probably take me another 30 or 40 hours. And those things are just they seem
Dang.
so I don't know. I'm just assuming.
Right.
So like I'm seeing 2 games that I'm playing right now that are just so far away from being completed. It's a little intimidating. And I don't know what happened to Diablo, guys. That kind of fell off. I
You
I've
probably
heard
started to
progressed
bad
the
things.
furthest in that story-wise, though, right?
yeah, like I'm actually I think probably 3 or 4 5 hours away from beating it.
Mhm.
I don't find myself enjoying it.
Ah.
At first, it was fresh, it was new. I was like, man, I miss playing Diablo, and it's not really any changes that they made, or maybe it was. I don't know. I can't put my finger on it, but I'm just like, I have like no, there's no appeal to go back to that for me. Like, I do want to finish it, and I probably will, but I don't know. I feel like maybe the open world aspect hurt it for me just a hair.
Mhm.
I feel like if I remember correctly, Diablo 3 was split. It was split into acts like this game, but they were more pronounced. You know, you would go through Act 1 and it would bring you to a different region. And now this is Act 2. This one is a whole huge world map. And I find myself trying to get to the next region. And the map is good, but you know, you can get to yourself in these dead ends and you have to backtrack. And I will beat all 3. Even though I've asked my buddy and he said he guarantees I beat 0 of them, I will beat all 3. That's a Corey guarantee. One day. And Guardians of the Galaxy, I'll beat that too.
I'll keep it to it.
All right, don't please.
But no further progress report in Guardians of the Galaxy.
No,
That's in the repertoire. That's in Rolodex, I guess.
it's like 4 years. It's like going on
in the
3 4
rotation.
years at this point. But I did watch Guardians of the Galaxy 3 yesterday, so I had the slightest of itches. You know, so I'm like,
Yeah.
Was it decent?
yeah, I thought it was pretty good. Not as good as the
Yeah.
first one. I still think the first one's the best, but comparable to number 2, maybe a little bit better than 2.
Cool.
And that's what I've been playing.
Nice. David, you want to go or shall I take?
Yeah, sure. I've been playing the usual stuff, the main 2, but I've also been playing a lot of TFT, Team Fight Tactics. It's a newer season. I mean, it's been out for a month or so now, but it keeps the game refreshing and new, and it's like new characters. There's new team traits, so you have to learn those, and it's interesting. I'm trying to get back up to where I was, which was only gold. I just can't get out of silver 4. I have to relearn and everything, and I'm just a slow learner. But it's still fun. I already almost completed the battle pass, so that's what I've been playing.
Okay. I'll meet that. TFT, that's mobile, right?
It's mobile and PC.
Okay. You've been playing what, mostly mobile?
Mostly because I can get in a game or two during the day, but like on PC, I also play at least a game.
Okay.
So it's maybe 2/3 or half.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. For me, I think it slots in as 3 games as well. So, one game that I will be playing but have taken a bit of a reprieve from is Final Fantasy 16. I do enjoy it. I want to jump back into it. It's just your boy's been doing a little exploring. That's all. So I haven't jumped into that. What I have been playing though is more Oxygen Not Included. Just again playing that to understand the mechanics of it. I'm on my 2nd, maybe 3rd run with it, and I kind of like to do these shorter runs to figure out how quick is to get to the mid game and then like play the mid game, late game, different things like that. So I've been playing that, having a good time with that. That game's fun to like figure out. I have been playing the mobile game Eat Venture.
Yeah.
Unfortunate recommendation by David. I actually stopped playing it for a while, and now I believe I'm playing it more than I did when I initially started playing it.
Wow.
I'm doing the events. They got the events and stuff where like you can earn.
Those are so long.
More jewels and different stuff. They're in this 3-day event right now. Yeah. That's Fisher. That's about fishing. So I'm like, oh, okay. It's a switch up. Instead of me slinging burgers and fries, I'm slinging, crabs and red snapper and salmon. Yeah. It's like, it just switches it up for you. So I've been playing that like crazy, getting the jewels, leveling up, unlocking like the different things. Like, hey, you get more money when you do an ad boost, or you make more money offline. So I've been trying to get that leveled up well, so I can just make a lot more not playing the game than when playing the game. That's the hope. I'm playing the game more so I can eventually progress further when I'm not playing the game. So that's kind of been the loop there I've been going in. And then the other game I've been playing is a recommendation by Corey to check out, which is this game called Norland. They have a playable demo of it right now. He shared a TikTok with me that kind of like showed a little bit of what the game's about. The game is essentially, if you think about like RimWorld or Dwarf Fortress, you kind of control a king and his brother and his wife. That's like how it is so far. And your task is to build up a medieval kingdom. So you can become a vassal of other kings. You can also just be like do your own thing. You suggest different things for them to do, and they kind of do it. Like you can set them to be managers of buildings, and it's kind of like in that way, it's kind of like a production supply line chain type of thing. And I think the game that I've played with the closest experience to that is something like the Guild 2. I mean, there's a lot of feelings of Guild in this game as well. But yeah, so you set them up as managers. They post orders every single day for workers to do, and then your workers go to these different production places and they do the work. So you make someone the manager of a farm. They set the orders. Hey, today's, you gotta till the farm so we can, get the rye and take it to the brewery and make ale and different stuff like that. Like beer and ale is like actually how your people maintain good moods and energy. If they don't have that stuff, then they're no good. But then also like you have to, have a air and different things like that, else you lose it, and yada yada yada, all these different things, and your characters have different skills. So it's kind of like RimWorld in that way. So like maybe like RimWorld, you may have like someone that's low level with a skill like shooting. They may have like a level 5, but in RimWorld, if it has, and I think it's the same for Norland, if they have like a fire by it, then that means they have a passion for the game. And so if they have a passion for the game, a passion for the skill, and if they have a passion for the skill, that means they learn that skill quicker compared to other skills.
That's pretty cool.
And so it's really cool to be able to like, have your characters study. They're able to teach each other. skills. So they're incorporating a little small element of teaching that you get from Crusader Kings 3. There's a little bit of pieces of everything kind of included into this game, but I really enjoyed from the real world aspect and a little bit of that whole, lineage, dynasty. That's where you kind of get into like the Crusader Kings guild, like the kind of importance of all that stuff. But yeah, you can't really directly control your characters, so you can't tell them to go eat. The only thing you can really directly tell them to do is attack someone. Besides that, they just kind of do their own thing. So like, I got my brother, the brother of the king, I got him wedded with a lady that was the daughter of another king. So that way he could have his wife and we could solidify our connection. And then our town grew big enough to where the church of the region sent a bishop there to make sure that our town was religiously in line. And in the course of that bishop being there, he has an affair with the new wife of the brother. And that just screws up everything. I mean, unfortunately, she didn't have a kid by the guy, else I would have a whole another issue. But it's like certain things like that where you like can't control it, where it's fun, but it also can be frustrating because you can be putting a lot of work towards building something up and then they wreck it. Like they do something to like wreck up. You're like, why'd you do that? Like, why'd you have an affair? Or why'd you go off and do that? So it's fun. It can be a little annoying, but I've been having time with that. The demo allows you to play 20 in-game days, which is about 5 hours.
Wow.
But I haven't played a full 20-day run yet, and I'm a little over 5 hours in the demo. So I'm gonna probably, squeeze another 5 or 6 or so hours out of it.
Now, does this game have a release date, or is it going to come to early access?
Yeah, from what I saw, I haven't checked it in a minute. It has to have the release date is like sometime this year. I think I remember it being late fall. I mean, late summer, early fall. I think is the release date for it. And again, it's indie. The way it looks, again, it looks like a RimWorld or like a Prison Architect. Like that's kind of like the people look. But yeah, I've been having fun with it. It's a little silly. It's a silly goose time, essentially in that game. So that's what I've mostly been playing. It's taking the place of Final Fantasy 16, unfortunately. But I want to get back into Final Fantasy 16. Clive is just so brooding all the time. It's like
I saw him smile and laugh.
Yeah,
I think around the 11-hour mark.
Really? You took 11 hours to get that guy to crack a smile and laugh.
Yeah. Yes. It was nice though, and it was kind of like a well-earned moment. You felt for the guy. You're like, oh, okay, his heart grew 3 times that size, that day or something. So it was nice. It was a nice moment. Yeah. There's a lot of good stuff in that game where the side quests have been like a little bit boring in Final Fantasy 16. I don't know if you've done any of them yet, Jeremy.
I have. Are they typically that short? They seem like they're short.
They're super short. It's like go out to the fields and get this,
which I like.
Yeah, they're short. Yeah, and the rewards are terrible, but they do shine a lot of light on that world and what the people are kind of going through, which is, for a game like this where story is kind of taking precedent, that and the, gameplay, it's it's welcomed, I guess.
I also like the fact that I don't have to sneak in that game.
Never.
It's, because sometimes we'll have to sneak up to the thing. And for them, sneaking is just a cutscene. Good on you, buddy. Okay, because I've got Assassin's Creed for that if I want to do that, right?
Right.
I don't want to do no sneaking levels. Because I get real stupid with it. So then a mission that takes 7 minutes with me takes 17 because I'm trying to perfectly sneak around everything. I'm like, take this away from me. Like, I don't need this.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's pretty much it for what I've been playing though.
Nice. That's a lot for not much.
On to the topics.
Okay.
That's the transition.
That was very medium done. So, I guess I'll go first. Since we officially know aliens are real, I was thinking, what is your guys' favorite game that involves outer world people or things or whatever, aliens?
I believe they made a point to say that they didn't use the term alien. They used, as far as like, do we have an alien body? They said we have non-human biologics.
Exactly, that one.
It's very interesting. Yeah. And they aren't UFOs. They're UAPs, unidentified aerial phenomena. You can't admit to the having UFO because they've said UFOs don't exist. Yeah, but so I guess like games that have aliens in them.
It's a very interesting question.
Yeah.
I think I told you before here, like a couple really shot to mind right away. And Jeremy, like this would, I would assume, be up there. You know, if you didn't pick it, it was definitely a choice of yours. But the Halo franchise deals with the conflict with the aliens. So that's a gimme, you know, for sure. Another one for me was the Mass Effect series, which humans are exploring outer space, and they've kind of developed this relationship with a great number of alien species. That was really cool. But I kind of wanted to go to two that I don't know, don't talk about too much, but the Metroid franchise is a great representation of like alien planets, alien creatures. Some of the older ones, especially for me, like the Fusion and the Zero Mission on Game Boy Advance, I believe. And of course, Metroid Prime, the first person adventure Metroid game. That was awesome. And the worlds looked great and the creatures were cool. And then a more recent one that I think did a really good job, now that I had thought about it, was Returnal. Returnal had a very alien-like world, very alien-like creatures. It was super unique. So those were the kind of two, both female protagonists. That's cool. That's alien when it comes to video games. But yeah, those are the two that kind of popped to mind after those initial like big two.
Yeah, those are good ones for sure. Yeah. For me, I would say the one, at least for me, the one that initially popped to mind was the XCOM series. So you know, the first one, aliens are coming here and they're doing their thing, and the second one, the aliens will come here and beat the crap out of us, and we're trying to fight back, right? Like tactic strategy, that whole thing. That's kind of like I think about aliens that way. And I mean, I did have another one that came to mind, so now I'm kind of double thinking. I mean, would you guys consider the Horde from Gears of War an alien race?
I actually would not, because they come from Earth.
Right?
I mean, I guess, like, does Christopher Columbus consider Native Americans aliens? Like, that's kind of the same difference here. Right. Yeah. I would not. I mean, they came from Earth. You know, yes, definitely a different species. Definitely. Yeah, I don't think I would.
Okay.
I don't even remember where they came from.
They came from
underground. Came from underground, yeah. Well, then, yeah, I would say, like, I don't know, the XCOM series is like probably the biggest. Mass Effect was up there, but I think for me, XCOM was the one that popped to mind first. And obviously, there's a bunch of different XCOM clones. I kind of like lump those in, like Phoenix Point and like all those. Another one that I kind of thought about was Age of Wonders Planetfall, but you're actually landing on an alien world, so it's a little bit of the inverse. I mean, technically, who's the aliens in that regard?
You are.
Exactly. So yeah, I'll probably stick with XCOM as being the one that really sticks out.
Okay.
Yeah.
This you guys might not see coming, because I even searched it just to get a good list going, and the first thing that came up was like 30 alien games, like literally Alien and like Alien versus Predator. I'm like, well, this is no good.
Yeah, I thought about Alien Isolation being one.
Yeah, that was one of them that popped up.
Yeah.
But I was thinking about it real hard, and what came to mind was Artful Escape. You go off into space and meet these people, and amazing story, as you know, Jeremy. And it's just lovely game. I think that would have to be my favorite alien game, because I played a lot of Halo, but it definitely wasn't one of my go-tos. And I've never played any other ones that you guys mentioned. So I'm gonna have to go with this little indie guy.
I like it.
Very, nice. Very good game.
Haven't played that, but you've talked about it enough. I really should download it.
It's the most non-rhythm game.
Exactly.
Right. Okay.
Annapurna Interactive.
Yeah, there's a lot, man. I looked up a list too. There's a ton of them. And it's hard, Jeremy, when you're saying like, oh, who's the alien? It's really hard to get games where you are the alien. There was that one that was like on the Xbox 360. I forgot what it was, but you actually do play the alien and you're like abducting people and cows and giving
that
them.
came up like
Aliens Destroy
Earth
Humans
or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Destroy all humans. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a cool
humans.
one. Yeah, where you are the alien. So that's kind of like a neat
Yeah.
concept. And then another one where you are the alien. I think Pikmin would count, right? I don't play a lot of Pikmin. I played
He's
one.
literally an
back in the day.
astronaut, isn't he? Or is that just
Well,
what he's
yes,
dressed
but
up with?
he crash lands on Earth. So
Got
he's an
it.
alien. He's like
Oh,
the
yeah,
size
yeah.
of like okay. So a couple where you play the alien. I think that's kind of a cool concept.
Yeah. I think it is. Yeah. Yeah. That's what I was I was trying to think. There aren't. I mean, I think there are a good bit of alien games like from that franchise. Colonial Marines had jumped to mind because that was such a dumpster fire, but it is technically a game with aliens in it. But yeah, I thought about Alien Isolation mostly because like there's a one-on-one intimate story you have with the alien in that game.
Game's
Seen
terrifying.
as it's just one alien you're trying to avoid. But yeah.
I'll tell you this, David. Jeremy ain't never played that game. He may say it.
Alien
out
Isolation?
loud as a good. He ain't never played that game for more than 3 hours.
Let me tell you
scary.
Let me tell you what happened to Alien Isolation. I bought Alien Isolation because Alien Isolation, not only is it, is an alien game, but it's actually developed by Creative Assembly, who does the Total War games. So I bought Alien Isolation, and then I looked up some videos on it, and I returned it. No, you're not gonna scare me, Creative Assembly.
Oh, that is amazing.
The game is terrifying.
Or you just turned it sealed?
I returned it.
Steam?
I returned it sealed. No, I returned it sealed.
Dang,
I took it back to the store. I'm like, you're
you
not
went with
gonna get me.
I'll support one of my favorite companies. Bought the game, looked it up. You're like, well, not on this one. I won't support it.
Not
this one. You ain't getting me, guys.
That's interesting. That's very interesting, man. All right. So, gentlemen, told you my guys' topic the other day, last week. I think I told you guys. We all kind of get into our own little bubbles. Jeremy, you play a lot of these simulation strategy games. David, we know you like your Apex and your online competitive games. And I bring up the God of Wars, the Halos, kind of the common AAA games. I want to hear something from you guys that we haven't heard before. Like, give me a title where you're like, you know what? I really enjoyed this title in the past. I want to hear something like that. Just something maybe I wouldn't expect so much. It doesn't have to be way out there, but just I was a fan of this game.
I have a game.
All right. I would hope so.
I had to take quite a bit of time to secure this game in my mind. But this game is in a genre that I play. This game is created by a developer I like. And it is around a subject matter that I like. So it fits all of these. There was a game developed, published in 2005 by Sega, developed by Creative Assembly. It is a hack and slash or a Mushu game, kinda. That game is Spartan Total Warrior. I'm not sure if you guys remember this game.
I do not. That sounds
not
a clue.
It had
sweet though.
It had a Spartan on it, and it was like a blue background behind the Spartan. The Spartan's kind of like in bronze or brown or whatever. But essentially, the game was you are a Spartan warrior being led by the god Ares to defend the invasion of Rome into Greece or into Sparta, essentially. And it's like this 10, 15-hour hack and slash venture where you're going about learning new abilities, getting new weapons, and you're just fighting a bunch of Romans. Roman kind of altered. It meshes like real world history and fantasy mythology a little bit. It was such a fun game. It's about 15 to 17 hour playthrough. And I remember I just couldn't get enough of it. Played it, I think, on the original Xbox is what I played it on. I'm actually going to try to find that game again so I can play it. But it was such a great game, and I had such a memorable experience with it. I think about that game, but I've never really talked about it before because it's just it just doesn't really fit within that what I would usually talk about. But
Right.
yeah, it was. I mean, it was as defining an experience of the game on the original Xbox than anything else. And like I said, developed by one of my favorite developers, published by Sega. I mean, '05, those the mid aughts. I mean, just the pinnacle of like gaming, my like whole gaming time. The era of it all. So, yeah, I'd say that's one. It led me to therefore subsequently buy another game that I've never mentioned before, Rise, Son of Rome, which was a launch title for the Xbox
Yeah.
One. That
Beautiful
game
looking
looked
game.
gorgeous. I'm pretty sure that game holds up now.
Yeah.
More than anything, it was definitely nowhere near as good as Spartan Total Warrior from a gameplay standpoint, but it was good for what it was. It was a launch title.
Yeah.
And it did what it needed to do. It showed off the engine and the graphical fidelity that Xbox can achieve, even in 900p. So it did its thing. I wouldn't mind a remaster of both actually, but especially of Spartan Total Warrior. That needs to come to newer gens.
That first game sounds awesome. Like I would love to look that up or see if they like just made a remaster of it. Obviously they haven't, but if they did, I would think I'd be all up on that. And it's interesting you bring up Rise because I think last week or 2 weeks ago I brought up the Order 1886, and it feels almost like the exact same type of thing.
Yeah,
a little disappointing. Not the greatest game of all time. Probably a little short. But if you actually gave them like another 3 or 4 years to really build upon that, like I think the sequel to Rise probably could have been a really good game.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
we'll never see it.
We won't, unfortunately.
Yeah,
no Rise,
that's
no
what
Order
I was gonna
1886.
No. David, you got one for us?
Yeah. So
All right.
this is hard because the games I haven't mentioned are just from a long time ago, essentially.
Hey, that's all right. All right.
I don't recall ever talking about this a lot, if at all, but it's a game for the regular Nintendo called Adventures in the Magic Kingdom. And you're this little cowboy in the Magic Kingdom, and you have to go to these it's either 6 or 7 different attractions in the kingdom. You have to beat that part of the level and get this key because Mickey lost them all. I think Pete stole them all. So you're trying to gather the keys so you can save the kingdom and make Mickey Mouse happy and stuff like that. So like one of them, you're on this little spaceship and you have to avoid meteors and stuff like that. And then another one is you're on this train track going down, and eventually you have like options like which way to go. And a lot of them are like dead ends. So if you go the wrong way, you die. So it's more of like it might be memory, but it also might be random. I can't remember. So that was really hard. And then there was like a ghoul one, side scroller, and there's like these zombies like dancing and walking. You have to avoid them and stuff like that. And that was probably my favorite Nintendo game. I played it a lot, but I haven't played it since because I don't have a Nintendo.
That sounds prime because they've been doing a lot of these like remakes of like these old like Disney games. They did like the Aladdin, they did the Lion King, DuckTales. Like I'd be interested in that if they did one of those little like remake things for it. Sounds cool.
Yeah,
and like we do
simple and fun.
We do not get a lot of original Nintendo game talk on here, so much appreciated.
Right.
Jeremy, you hit us with 2. I only really had 1, but I'll get a second one as well. I'll do my my main course first, though. Are you guys privy to Supergiant Games?
Yes.
Not a clue.
Okay. So Supergiant Games, they made Bastion, Transistor, Hades. So really big indie developer. They also made another game in between Hades and Bastion, which I don't think got nearly as much love.
Can I guess?
I mean, yeah. I mean, do you know the game?
It's not The Binding of Isaac, is it?
No.
Okay. I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. Like, there's this third game. This is the third game that they made, and it's just so underappreciated by so many people. It's called Pyre.
Okay. Yeah.
Pyre. It shares the art style because they all kind of have the same art style. It shares that art style, and what it really is at its core, it's a sports game. It's a 3-on-3 sports game where you take these you're a human, but you can get these other creatures on your team, and you're trying to score this orb into the other person's goal. And you can tackle, you can pass, I don't think you can do like special moves, but it's a pretty simple sports game. And it's awesome. A lot of people at the time compared it to like an NBA Jam. I never quite got that feeling, but I kind of understand where they were going with just kind of like the 3-on-3 sports. And it's mixed with everything that Supergiant does extremely well. So Supergiant, for anyone that plays Hades, great characters in that game. Pyre has some amazing characters and characterization. They have great story, beautiful like hand-drawn graphics, and amazing music. Like Pyre to me was just an incredible experience. And it really kind of throws the whole genre not on its head, per se, but you're in like this you're in purgatory, right? And you're trying to escape it. So you got to play these sports, and you're recruiting these people as you go on your mission. So you might get like a giant tree, you might get this giant like minotaur guy, you might get this like small worm in a knight outfit. And as you play, you get closer to redeeming themselves. And as you go on, as you play like through this season, you're going to lose some of these guys as they get redemption throughout. So you kind of have to pick and choose like, hey, this guy's going on, blah, blah, blah. Another really awesome thing is it does matter whether you win or lose, but the game won't stop you for losing. So you play on, and if you lose, I think at that point you just lose. If I remember correctly, it's been a few years, you just lose one of your teammates right then and there. So you can play the whole game and lose every single match, and you're going to get a much different story. It's not going to be as good for sure, but you'll still get to see that to completion. And you get these like really fun pairings where, if I remember correctly, there's like these two left together on their journey, and they not hooked up, but they met up afterwards once they were out of purgatory. And here's how their journey ended. Really, really fantastic indie game. I loved it. It's one of those indie games I don't think anyone that I know personally will ever play, but I would love it if they did. I would recommend it from the mountaintops. Like, play Pyre. Jeremy, seems like it would be kind of up your alley. David, I think it would be up your alley too, because Omari, right? Really love that game. Is that the one I'm thinking of? No, not Omari.
I've never played Omari.
What's the one,
Is that
the
the one with
indie
the
that
dog?
you love? No, what's the indie that you love?
No.
No, it doesn't matter. You're going to be telling us the indie you love very soon.
That's the indie. Omno.
Oh, Omno. It was close enough. Come on, David. You could have helped me out there.
I didn't know that's what you were going for.
Okay, well, Pyre has beautiful, beautiful atmospheric music, beautiful graphics. I think, like, even though it's not your completely 100% type of game, I think you would really get a lot from everything else that's involved. And Jeremy, you like sports games. You're one of the dumb gamers. You hate on them, but you love them. It's got that storytelling of like a Wildermyth to me, and plus the sports aspect. So Pyre, that's the one. You know what? I will just stick with that one. I like it so much. I will just stick with that as my only game that I'm going to talk about. So
deserves the center of attention.
Yeah, it deserves it. Like I said, I love this game so much. And I think the year it came out, it was like third in my game of the year rankings. This was before we did the podcast, when I still did rankings on my own, because I'm a
What two games beat Pyre?
What's that?
What two games beat Pyre?
It came out in 2017. I don't remember. I think Breath of the Wild came out that year.
Sounds right.
That was definitely
2016. Higher. Okay.
Maybe. What I used to do, and like I don't have my PS4 to check anymore, but PS4 had a great folder system. So I would name the folders the best of 2000, whatever year it was. And I would just move things up and down as I played them. And I do specifically remember them. When was Overwatch out, David?
Oh, I don't know. I didn't play until it was out
Overwatch
for a few
year.
years.
Could have been Fortnite year. I know, and maybe Persona 5. Fortnite and Persona 5 may have beaten it.
Okay.
think maybe that was 2017, but I'm not quite sure.
Okay.
So there you go, Pyre. Both of you guys should check it out just to give it a look. Maybe check out the trailer.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah, I do remember hearing about Pyre a little bit.
And like, sorry to go on, but it's like
Yeah.
so like just underrated. Everyone knows Bastion and Transistor. Those were the two games that kind of started that company, and everyone knows Hades because of how big it is, and the Game of the Year.
It wasn't
nominations.
Up for Game of the Year. Yeah.
Yeah, Hades. So, but like Pyre is just kind of unknown, and it's like they're making a Hades 2, so that's like kind of 2 in the Hades franchise. Bastion and Transistor, they were pretty similar. I know there were some differences, but they were pretty similar. Pyre is going to be a one-off that they never touch again, which is unfortunate.
Oh no, I have a Pyre 2, the Pyre Ring.
Yes.
That's what we need. Cool. Well, my topic kind of springboards off of that. Like we've kind of talked about, you were mentioning like indies, and like one of the games that you love that you haven't really talked about is an indie in Pyre. I was interested because, again, like I mentioned, I've been playing Norland, which is by all intents and purposes an indie. And that I think, David, kind of like recalling you've said before, like you hadn't really played a lot of indies until you started doing the podcast.
Yeah.
And so my question kind of was like, hey guys, we're basically 3 years into this. In the past 2 to 3 years, what has been your favorite indie or indies that you've played during that time? And any of them? I know I have like one or two for sure that jumped to mind that I think I played specifically because of the podcast. But was curious what you guys had.
I'll go because yeah. Okay, so I don't have a big window of options like you said, but I think I'll do top 3 is definitely Valheim. I put 25, 30 hours into that game. A lot of fun. I did try to go back to it. Had no idea what I was doing. I still want to try and go back and understand it again, and because I know they added more story to it and stuff like that. I only defeated like 2 bosses out of however many were at the beginning. So there's a lot to do there. I barely explored anything. Another is the Artful Escape, like I just mentioned previously. That was an amazing game. And Omno, which I can't say enough about it. Just such an amazing game. It took me like 3.5 hours to beat it. I think it came out, it was $20. I didn't have any bad experiences with that game. Even at one point, there was one puzzle that literally took me the most time. It was like 30 minutes. I just couldn't understand how to do it. It was so confusing. But eventually I got it. I wasn't even mad about it.
Yeah.
It's just, I think it was made by one person. And like I said, it looks beautiful. The music is beautiful. The story is beautiful. You can't really do better than that.
Yeah. I feel
super well said, David.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Want me to go, Jeremy?
Sure. Yeah.
Are you guys familiar with the developer Supergiant?
Not at all.
Actually, I am. They did Bastion, Transistor, and they actually have a pretty underrated game called Pyre. They're working on
Pyre 2. I haven't heard the other 2, but the Pyre one, I think I've heard of it.
I would love to talk about Pyre someday, but I'm here to talk about, because since we've been doing the podcast, it's been 2020, right? That's when we started it.
Yeah.
Hades, and I don't think it's even close. Hades is such a fantastic roguelike. I'm going to sound like a broken record here, but Supergiant is known for their like hand-drawn, beautiful graphics. They have great characters, story, characterizations, relationships, and the gameplay is fantastic. I've talked about Hades before on the podcast a while ago, but it's a great roguelike. It's one of the best. I enjoyed my time with it. It's one of the few games that, roguelikes you can beat kind of quick once you know, like, kind of the process. That one I went through 10 times. I don't do that for any game. I don't care what it is. I don't play through even if they can be beat after a while in like an hour or so. I don't beat games that many times, but I beat Hades 10 times so I could get the complete story. That's how engaging all of this stuff was. So like Hades, man, it's just Supergiant. They're a great developer, and I can't wait for Hades 2. But yeah, Hades 1 is definitely up there, and it's tough, man. 3 years is not a long time, a lot of time. I feel like I have so many from like 2019, 2018, 2017, and I guess just fewer indies now. I don't know what happened, but that's the big one.
The reviews for the AAA just get to you, man.
Yeah, it just kind of takes away the time. You know, back in the day, I had stuff like Hotline Miami, Celeste, Rogue Legacy, but those were all kind of early PS4 stuff. So recently on the PS5 and the newer systems, not as much, but something like Vampire Survivor, I think my love for that has been well known. I know there's a couple more, but Jeremy, I'll let you take it. Maybe I'll think of a couple.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and I remember. Yeah, you definitely were like singing the praises of Hades while you were playing it once you got done beating it. So that kind of lines up. Yeah, I actually have like 4, and one of them I immediately forgot. So we'll see if I end up remembering that one at all or not. But yeah, as far as like indies go, so like for sure, 2 on that list of yours, David, is on mine, which is Valheim and Omno.
Valheim as well as for me. That was awesome.
Yeah. They're just great games, and they're great games that I'm not sure I would have given the time of day or a chance.
Yeah, me either.
Without not the podcast, which has been a great learning experience to like make sure I seek out games that may seem like they don't really fit what I usually or typically want in an experience. So yeah, for sure, Valheim is great. I think I have like 50 or 60 hours in that game. And I would love to go and hop in with a brand new character, do another playthrough, and just like spend another 50, 60 hours in that game because it's just so much fun and it's great.
Yeah, I remember when it came out, every time I would be online, I'd see you pop up on Valheim. I'm like, man, this guy's playing that game.
Yeah, I was playing it. Omno is another one. Omno was able to, I mean, not only is it like beautiful and like completely like evocative, like it's a very emotional game, but like it's a puzzle platformer, but it's so chill.
Your genre, man.
It's not though. But here's the thing: it's so chill that even when I was like trying to solve puzzles and I may have had some frustrations with it, I never got into like a bad mood. So the complete antithesis of my experience with something like Limbo, where I run into a puzzle and I like hate and want to fight everything. I never had that with Omno. You know what I'm saying? So like that was another thing that was just kind of like great about that game. There's another big indie that I'm like that I probably wouldn't have played without the podcast. That's like slipping my mind right now. But another one that I did play and I'm gonna eventually buy to play more, but I would not have tried without the indie or without the podcast. And Corey, this is one that you've mentioned. I'm not sure if you remember why or when you mentioned it, but Disco Elysium.
Yeah, I was playing it for a while.
Yeah, I was playing it for a little bit on my Switch, and I'm waiting on it to go on sale. It's been on a pretty decent, aggressive sales at times.
I'm going to help you out. How much would you pay for it? Like, what's a must-buy right now?
What's a must-buy?
Yeah, like if it was down to a certain price, what would be a price where like, okay, I'll buy that tonight?
$3.
Oh. God, Jared, it's so low. All right, well,
I've seen it on sale for like $5 or $7 before.
Okay, all right. Well, hey, fair enough. I was gonna say that the on the Humble Bundle monthly, which is $12, it's the game of the month.
Gotcha.
There's also it comes with like 6 other games in there. I actually find it for you while you talk. So
yeah. So like Disco Elysium, I maybe have like a few hours in that game, but that game has so much character and it's so distinct and it's so good that I'm like, man, I really want to hop back into this, and I want to buy it on Steam because it's Steam Deck compatible, and that's the perfect game to play on Steam. I kind of lend it to the same as Stardew Valley, which is where like I just feel like this feels like a really good mobile experience to have. And I guess I had another game in mind, but I guess my fourth will be Stardew Valley. because I had tried to play that game. I've owned that game for years. And it wasn't until like the podcast going back in and like kind of experiencing or playing with the, us kind of talking about the mobile gaming experience, what that's like, that I've actually been able to jump back into that game and play it and have a completely different experience and attitude with that game than I did before. Before I was like, I don't get this. This seems really obtuse. It seems really vague. I don't like this. I want my Harvest Moon. To now where I'm like, I love this game. I put tons of hours into this game. Who even needs another Harvest Moon? Why even making another one? We have Stardew Valley. That's enough.
All right, so Humble Bundle Monthly. You can get Disco Elysium, Chivalry 2. Do you have that game? That's kind of like an online only, so I don't know if that'd be for you. Road 96. Trek to Yomi, Arcade Paradise, and then a couple other not so great ones. So that's $12 if you're looking to buy it. Get a couple other games.
Yeah, speaking of indies that weren't my favorites, Trek to Yomi can kick rocks. They can kick rocks.
Either. Did not like it. Like it. I actually thought of a few more if I can give a couple. All right,
I thought of one too.
I think these first two, they came out before we started the podcast, but I did not play them until we did the podcast. Forager is one that I just got addicted to for about 30 hours, and I thought I just had the best time. Like, it was such a nice time playing that game, just buying these little islands to kind of open up and take their resources and getting a new skill, and that was rinse and repeat for about 30 hours, where you just kept getting stuff that was bigger. It was almost like a mobile game where you get stuff to do stuff, but then it costs more, but you're doing stuff. You know what I mean? Yeah. Great game. Loved Forager. Another one is Doki Doki Literature Club. I played that while we were doing the podcast, and that was the first visual novel.
I remember that.
That was the first visual novel I ever played. It's horror based. It's very like psychological and in your mind and like messed up. Very cool.
Does not give that at all.
Well, I know it looks so cheery.
It's so
like
crazy.
It's like 4 anime girls, and I wouldn't have played it if I didn't know it was like that. I knew it was horror. Like, I wasn't like, oh, hey, this is gonna be a good thing. Like, I knew it was horror, so that's why I played it to begin with. But yeah, really cool experience. And then I think I have one that I played during the podcast, but I think we were on break. Have I ever talked about Inscription? Did I talk about that?
Not that I recall.
Really? Okay, so yeah, that was the first game or second game that I bought on my Steam Deck when I got it, which, we were kind of taking a break on the podcast. And Inscription is a card game. Think like Slay the Spire or Yu-Gi-Oh! Or Pokemon. You get a deck of cards. Super cool, super unique. It's got a little bit of everything. It's got sci-fi, it's got horror. Like, the beginning part is you're in this cabin with this stranger, and you're playing a card game, and the cards are kind of alive, and they're talking to you, and they're guiding you, and you play this really quick card game that takes no longer than like 3-4 minutes. And then after you beat it, you kind of move up a ramp. You can choose, hey, do you want to go to rest? Do you want to get a new card? Do you want to upgrade a card? And you kind of choose your path, and you can see what your path is going to lead you to throughout. It takes some very wild twists and turns. You would not believe it. It's a card game, but it takes crazy twists and turns. And there's like a puzzle outside of the card game. So like, you're playing the card game with this guy, this stranger. You get up from the table and you can explore the cabin, and you're figuring out puzzles in the cabin. So cool. If you have any interest in card games, I would 100% recommend Inscription. Really, really cool game. I think it's also on like PS5 now. Might be on Xbox. I'm not sure. Probably Switch, but yeah, Inscription. Very cool.
Very nice.
I have another one, and then I have a question about if one is another one. But one, I want to give a shout out to Mo Stray. Definitely nothing I would have ever played. But one of our listeners recommended it, and I was the one that jumped on it, and ended up being a good story, good game. And then Hellblade. Does that count as indie or no?
That's a tough one.
that is a tough one, right? Because when it was...
I think by definition it counts, but by spirit it doesn't.
It's like just like AAA studio, but like kind of like almost self-published, right?
Well, like you look at something like The Witcher. Isn't that indie? They're self-published, right?
Right.
So like I think for that example, like Yes, by definition, but really not by like, you know.
Okay, I'll just do a little shout out for it then, just in case.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. I did remember the fourth one, and I actually can't
Oh, heck yeah.
believe that I forgot it. Gentlemen, how did I forget Wildermyth? How did I?
Yes.
What?
Yes.
That's the one right there. That is the exactly.
Yeah.
But that is the prime. That is the absolute. I mean, you know, it's Wildermyth as far as indies go. You know,
the reason you forgot it is because it's such a great game. You don't even put titles on it. You don't put indie on that. You don't think, that's an indie game. It's just one of the best games you've ever played.
Mm-hmm.
Simple as that.
It is. And now that I'm actually thinking about it, I think I'm gonna go back and play some more Wildermyth. I'm never going to finish this Final Fantasy 16.
Podcast over yet?
I know, right?
Wildermyth. Oh, that's funny.
Well, some good options though. Some good choices.
Yeah.
Nice to hear them. And again, listeners, these indies, they're accessible. That's one of the great things about indies. They're accessible. They're usually on sale pretty decently, a pretty good frequency, and the sale prices are usually pretty good. They aren't like Ubisoft. Hey, you know, $70 a game is on sale for $63.99. It's like, no. Usually, if you wait, you can find like Wildermyth. I think is like 30. You can usually maybe find it on sale for like 17. Omno, I think, is going for like maybe it's like 10 or 15, maybe 20. You can usually find it on sale for like $8 to $10. And that's a game where it's like you spend $8 to $10 on Omno, you may get 5-6 hours out of it. It is going to be a glorious $5 to $6. I mean, the scene, or 5 to 6 hours. I'm sorry. The scene, the level I'm trying to think of where it opens up to that one level where it's like snow, and you start snowboarding on your stick. So cool. It was so beautiful. I'm like, man, this just feels so good doing this, you know? Great game. Can't wait for the next one to follow up. I mean, you know, we forgot to throw Falconeer in the mix, but, you know, it's up there as part of our...
We didn't forget.
It's part of our recommendations. Falconeer is up there. Can't forget the Falcon.
Sometimes you can.
Unfortunately, sometimes the Falcon gets left behind. But yeah, as far as indies, I mean, that's it for us. So I guess we're going to move on. We've been talking about games. I think it's game time.
It's game time.
And for this level's
chamber.
Yeah. For this game time, we are playing What's the Meta?
What's the matter with you?
There you go. That's an infamous Corey response, and David did it and said it sounds just as bad. But what's the meta?
We've been hanging out with him too much.
Right?
Yeah.
We have 3 games. We look up their Metacritic reviews, usually user reviews. And based upon those reviews, they work as clues for the fellas to guess which games I'm talking about. Again, we got 3 for this evening. So, gentlemen, are you ready?
I'm ready.
No, but let's go.
I tried to pick 3.
I'm a bite David's kneecaps.
Ooh.
That's nice. That's a nice reference.
Yeah.
What do you think they go? 7 and 9 this year?
Dang. No. They win 10. David's so confused.
I'm so confused. I have no idea what's going on.
I'm sorry, 7 and 10. We're talking footballs. That's a quote from the Detroit Lions coach, Dan Campbell. He says, if you knock us down, we're going to come back up. And on our way up, we're going to bite off a kneecap. And you knock us down again, and we're going to get back up, and we're going to bite off the other kneecap. And it's like, okay, whatever. And then you went winless for the first half of the season. You went 0-8 after you said that. And then they happened to win some games at the end, and now everyone thinks we're going to win the Super Bowl. It's kind of weird.
That's right.
You guys want to hear a weird fact that I probably shouldn't know?
Yeah, let's hear it. This
year, which is the first year ever in Ford Field history that the Lions sold all of their season tickets.
Yeah, I just heard that today. That's people are drinking the Kool-Aid.
Drinking it hard.
Not I. I'm a hater.
The only reason I was like, yeah, because they're probably like $100. Like, but they're probably crazy.
You know, people might want to keep in mind the last thing that happened when a bunch of people drunk Kool-Aid. Anyway.
Okay, let's move on, I guess.
All righty. So we got the first game. You guys ready?
Yes, sir.
All righty.
As they'll ever be.
First review. They gave this game a 9 from user Your Mom's Bills. Says, quote, "This game is worthy of every bit of praise that it's getting. A beautiful story and an incredibly well-designed and stunning world to explore in a very unique way. Fantastic mood, music, good controls. All around a fantastic game, up there with the likes of What Remains of Edith Finch, Firewatch, Oxenfree, etc."
Wish I knew what genre those games were. Resident Evil Village.
It's incorrect.
Inside.
Incorrect.
Okay. All right.
This reviewer gave the game a 9. Their name, Axel. Quote, "Such a beautiful and fun. I liked even more than I would have imagined. Cute little story, fun adventures, lots to explore, puzzles to solve. One of the best indies I've ever played. Impressive it was fun to speedrun."
It Takes Two.
Oh, that's a good guess.
That's a good guess. Sorry, incorrect.
No.
Okay.
No.
What was that? No. Incorrect.
No.
Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry.
I have no clue how Amno plays, but I'm like, I feel like he might be giving David one here.
I would have been very upset.
Would you?
Yeah, if you got that right.
Oh.
Because I didn't say it.
I thought if he gave you like the game.
Yeah. Ugh.
Okay, let's see here. I was trying to find.
All right, great indie. This is an indie episode today. It feels good. I miss talking about indies.
This one.
Think about it.
Let's see. Let's see here. Just trying to find a. Okay, here we go. This one. They gave by user super underscore Ren or Ryan underscore gave this game an 8 out of 10. Quote, "A unique game with some downsides on difficulty and length. If you are looking for a shorter, more casual game, this is definitely for you. It's a very different experience than what you'll get in most other games and really packs in a lot in a 4 to 6 hour campaign."
What is it? I think it's called Little Nightmares.
Oh.
It's another really good guess. Unfortunately, that's not it, but that was a really good guess.
dang.
That's a David.
That's a really good guess.
With Little Nightmares too.
That's clearly incorrect.
Okay, well
now are you just Wheel of Fortune? Are you just Wheel of Fortune in it now?
I don't know. I'm at a loss here. All right, I heard Firewatch. I heard I'm not thinking. All right, like Little Nightmares was such a good pick. It's like, well, I'm not going to guess something better than that. So maybe David just gets the wrong one, and it was the sequel. You know what I'm saying?
I didn't even know there was a sequel.
Yeah. Well,
So that would have been funny.
I know. Yeah. I don't know what this could be. Let's.
Alrighty. Well, we got this number 4.
All right.
They gave this a 9 out of 10 from user Chailboss. Quote, "This is a very cool game. Yeah, there may be simple gameplay, but that's not a minus. Interesting locations, yeah, from the view of a person. The city is very small. And that's great. The history of robots, how they try to be human and wear Asian hats and Hawaiian shirts. All in all, I liked the game. Only one minus is a few graphic bugs. Only one I want to say for creators, thanks for this game and good luck in your future projects." Again, I'm just reading how they write it.
Right. That whole robot Hawaiian shirt thing is a dead giveaway. If only I knew what that dead giveaway was.
Yeah, I'm
surprised I didn't give it away for you, Corey.
I don't know. I think this is just like a blind spot. I know every game. What the heck game is this? Robot. I feel like it's like. I feel like it's something that I definitely have not played, but like Citizen Sleeper or like that one with like where you're on like the dirt road. I don't know. Citizen Sleeper. I know that's wrong.
sorry.
But yeah, that's wrong.
Wow.
Alrighty.
Yeah, I got nothing. Go ahead.
Alrighty.
Last clue, right?
Okay.
Coming up.
Yep.
Oh, jeez, how embarrassing.
Oh man. Okay. Let's see if I can get this one.
Can't wait to find out that it was
Yeah,
Freedom
the way
Fighter.
this. Okay, I'll just go ahead and roll with this one. This person gave it an 8 out of 10 from the user Royal Guys 07. Quote, I greatly enjoyed Blank's aesthetic and world building. The city and the robots felt realized and it connected to each other. The actual gameplay was very simple, but managed to stay entertaining enough due to the game's very short runtime of around 4 hours. The open city areas were fun to explore and collect the various items to create new opportunities. The soundtrack was full on awesome, but the timing and mix of it felt abrupt and out of place at times.
I literally
Wow.
just cannot think of a robot game. Like, I'm not going to, but if I went to Google
Wolf?
right now and typed in robot indie game, I'm sure it would be the top one. I can't think of a robot indie game. I don't know what's happening here. I just don't know.
We don't know for sure that. All we know is that there are robots in the game.
Right.
Right. Wow. I started high and I just dropped
Yeah.
anymore at this point.
Wow, this is real tough. This is real tough. The Descent.
Incorrect.
Yeah, I figured.
David, did you make a guess? What's your guess?
I got nothing. I'm sorry.
Okay. I thought that the description of robots with Hawaiian shirts and Asian hats would give it away. The game is, in fact, Stray.
Stray. Wow.
Not a clue.
You don't know the game Stray, or you do?
That's
Yeah.
a tough
Is that the
one.
one with the cat?
Yeah. That's
Yes.
a tough one. Wow. Yeah.
Dang. That was a good one.
Played it for about 20 minutes. Did not get to robots with Hawaiian shirts.
Oh.
No, Stray. Unfortunately, it sounds like Hori strayed away from playing it. Alrighty, on to the next game. Alrighty. You guys ready?
I'm ready.
As I'll ever be.
I think I'm ready.
Okay.
I forgot that game existed.
Let's see here. Ooh, wow, not a lot of indie, or not a lot of user reviews for this game here. Okay. This user gave it a 4. Username, Jackie the Ripper. Quote, way too unprecise controls for a platformer. Some puzzles and jumping sections have a very short time limit to get around. Very frustrating.
Ukulele.
Incorrect.
Okay. All right.
Crap. Nothing.
Okay. This person gave it an 8 out of 10. Username, Thicino. Quote, short and sweet. Simple puzzles. Nice music. Spiritual successor games like Journey, Abzu, Entwined, Grow Home, Spirit of the North, The Last Tree. In short, easy puzzle games without enemies, where the only thing that can kill you is yourself. If you want a game with the same visuals but with real challenges, play Tunic or Death's Door. If you want a game like this one, but with the storyline and enemies, and closer to Zelda, play Kena, Bridge of Spirits, or Rhyme.
Is this one Omno?
That would be correct.
Oh no. Oh no, I'm on
I
death's
was
door.
like, I don't think there's bad guys in this game.
Oh no.
There isn't. There actually isn't. No.
Oh no.
Alrighty.
Hey, we can tie.
So this is the indie special here.
The little help.
You think that? Get the third and final game. You guys ready for this one?
I have to be. I got to step up here. Terrible performance by me.
Got this.
Let's see here. Okay, here we go. This reviewer gave it a 10 out of 10.
Dang.
Username is Lucifer Show. Quote,
Okay.
outstanding game with outstanding effects. The combat needs to get used to. The story is interesting and brilliant. Open world with a lot to do. You can do whatever you want. The character customization is a bit dull, but good. The different design of clothes are wide and good looking. Different blank choices is wide and overall perfect and true to the lore.
Cyberpunk 2077?
It's incorrect.
Okay.
Naraka?
It's incorrect.
Okay.
The second review, another 10 out of 10 from user Riverhawk. Quote,
Dang.
beautiful game. Ignore the haters and the politics. Just enjoy the game for what it is.
Wow, that's a short review. I'm going to go with The Last of Us 2.
Very good guess. Incorrect.
The Last of Us.
Don't do it to me. Don't you effing dare, David. Jeremy, don't.
That
That
is incorrect.
There's no.
That'd have been so funny.
That would have been hilarious. But Last of Us 1 didn't have politics, right? It wasn't like a divisive game.
One could
With
say.
The Last of Us?
Yeah, number one.
No, I wouldn't say that it was divisive. The prequel was a little divisive because that's when everyone found out that Ellie was gay, and that was an issue
That's
for
true.
everyone.
That is
But
true.
but yeah, but I mean like the prequel, that DLC they did.
Yeah. Okay.
Um,
Divisive game. It's what game came out with an agenda?
I'm trying to think. I mean, a lot of these here are going to just give the game right away. It's kind of hard not to give it away.
Well, we can use that for guess. Number 5.
Yeah. Okay. This one, well, hopefully, Corey might get this if he has the right knowledge for it.
Okay.
This user gave it a 10 out of 10. The user KTX_games says, quote, I know it's cliche to say at this point, but this game. No, let me rephrase. Let me to go over again. I know it's cliche to say at this point, but this genuinely is the game I've wanted for over 20 years. Incredible immersion, great graphics, great combat, incredible job. I hope Avalanche gets a blank check after this release.
Oh my god, I must be tired.
Do you know Avalanche at all?
Yeah, I know Avalanche.
Well, that helps you a lot. I have a clue.
I mean, not really. I can't think of anything they make now. What game was it?
Huh? You froze
What
for a
game
second
was
there.
it? I don't know. What game was it? I don't know. I can't think.
But we still have
That's only
more
3
clues
guesses.
though.
Yeah.
Oh, you can go. You can guess, David.
I have no idea who Avalanche is. I don't.
Oh, man, why do I suck?
Returnal? Just a guess.
That was House
Incorrect.
Marquee.
Okay.
This is wrong. Or it could be right. I don't know. I thought this was Avalanche, but I think maybe this was Avalanche Studios. Is it Mad Max?
It's incorrect.
Okay, I think someone named Avalanche makes Mad Max, but I knew it wasn't that one. But Avalanche. So let's go to.
I think that's the Avalanche that also makes the Just Cause games, if I'm correct.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Yep. All right. So let me get into my mind here. What game
Alrighty.
did they just make? Was it the Avengers? No, that was Crystal Dynamics.
Number 4, 10 out of 10 from user Matt the Turk. Quote, "Oh, good Lord, what bad can be said about this game? It's the best blank experience to date, if nothing else. Yes, just like every other open world RPG game, it has a few glitches and bugs, yet none of them are breaking your game. You can see how much detail and effort put into this game, and every time you play the game, you find yourself going, whoa. I normally don't say this, but please, please, please buy this game, and I assure you you will enjoy every single minute you spend for it. I'm nowhere near 100% yet, and that's a good thing. If you're a 100% completionist like me, then it may take like 60 to 70 hours at least to achieve that."
Valheim?
Good guess. Incorrect.
Good guess. I feel like the Monstars took my powers, man. I cannot put it together. Like, you've given everything. You've given the developer, you've given the genre, you've given so much information, and I just cannot piece it together. All right. I don't know. Valheim seems like a great guess. What does Avalanche make? I'm stuck on it. What do they make? I just can't picture them. What do they make? They made.
What do they make?
They made. I don't know. I don't know. I pass on this question. I can't even think of an open world RPG.
Okay.
All right.
Well,
Avalanche.
I'm looking for something that isn't like everything goes just straight up, like 100% just gives it right away.
All right.
So I'm just trying to find.
Need that this is number 5, isn't it?
This is number 5.
Avalanche.
Okay.
Man,
yeah, but I mean, you guys would still have to guess it, so I don't want it that the first person that guesses it,
I probably own this game, David.
You think so?
I probably do.
All right, bleep it. I'm just gonna go with this other one. All righty. Scrolling back up to the top because I tried to find
David,
something.
no matter what, I'm gonna give you first guess. All right. I don't want to tie, so if you're gonna take first guess. Either you win it, or I guess maybe we tie. But I want to give you a chance to win it. I don't want to. You get first guess no matter what.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. This review gives it a 10 out of 10 from a user named Zilner. They say, quote, "From the stunning blank to the intricate details of blank, the game's mechanics and graphics are simply breathtaking. The attention to detail is remarkable. From the wizard robes to the spells being cast, everything feels like it was lifted straight from the pages of the books. It's a game that will leave you feeling enchanted from start to finish. Simply amazing."
Wow.
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 Why'd you say it so disgustingly, Jeremy?
Wow. Like World of Warcraft. Wow. Okay. That is incorrect.
I figured.
You know what? Avalanche really threw me off, Jeremy. This is Harry Potter, Hogwarts Legacy.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah, it's my final answer.
Okay. That is correct.
That guy who wrote the review is an idiot. Avalanche doesn't make this, do they?
Warner Bros. Published it, but does Avalanche make it?
I think they made a new.
Let's see here.
I think Portkey Games. They like made.
It was Portkey Games that made it.
Yeah, I think they were Avalanche, and then they turned into like an exclusive, like, hey, we're developing Harry Potter games. So I still have it a little bit.
Well, when I go to the wiki, it says Avalanche Software.
I think it is Avalanche, but they like turned into Portkey Games, something like that. Oh, that was a tough one.
Okay.
That was a tough one. Good tie, David.
It looks like we've tied. Yeah,
I'm okay with that because my brain hurts.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like it was a little bit of a struggle for you.
It was very tough.
Well, pulling on the last few cells I have up there.
Yeah. Well, that brings us to the end. The final thoughts, where each of us gives a final thought we want to make it be about anything related or unrelated to the podcast episode. So, I mean, between Corey, you and David, which one do you want to give your final thought first, and then we'll go to the other one.
You can go.
Okay, I'll go. David, I'm actually not the happiest with you right now. I saw I saw a TikTok, and it was a gentleman playing prop hunt. And I actually saw this guy on TikTok a bunch. He does it in Call of Duty, and it's always fun to watch him. And I was like, what game is he playing in prop hunt in? Mm-hmm. It was Overwatch.
Yeah, I just don't play the mode.
Do they have it still? Is it like a
it's
continuous mode? David, will you play this with me? Oh, how long is it going to go on for?
I do not know.
Because I'm a real big fan of prop hunt. Like, I enjoy it, and like Overwatch would be great for it. So
yeah, I've played it once with my roommate, but that's it.
Okay. Well, I'm your new roommate. Play it with me.
You got it. All right.
Okay. So when someone's getting manipulated into spending time with someone else. I see that. David, what is your final thought?
You heard that I was rubbing off on him with his lame joke earlier, all right? Mm-hmm. We're growing real close.
Yeah.
My final thought. My final thought is
this guy just looking around the room trying to see something like he's the guy from Anchorman. My final thought is I love lamp.
I love lamp. Well, I thought of the scene from The Office where Michael's looking around and trying to like name people off of things he sees, in the room. Yeah.
My final thought is collectors. They're the same yet different. Like, I don't open anything. Seems Corey opens mostly everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I think either way, at the end of it all, if the world ended, we have stuff to trade for goods.
Yeah.
The guy next door, they happen to love Resident Evil. I'm good for a while. If they grow food, I have food for a bit.
Yeah, hey, I love Resident Evil, David. My son's a zombie. That's what they'll be saying.
That's my final thought.
Nice. What's your final thought? My final thought is that I've recently, and by recently I mean literally today, upgraded the internet in my home. I got a wireless mesh system. And part of the reason I did that was so that I can have better internet in my garage. I do a lot of work out there. So I recommend it, people. I'm getting good speeds out there. I could even record an episode out there if I had to. Good speeds all around. Really enjoying it. And hopefully eventually they'll bring 10 gig fiber internet. So where's that at?
So David, I got to ask you, like, was Jeremy just going robotic there for a second, or was it?
Yeah, it's really funny. It's like, I upgraded my internet. And
I just upgraded, fat folks. It's great. What great timing for that.
There might be a couple of hiccups happening. Right now. But overall, it's good. I mean, hey, man. Hey, getting 700. I gotta do another speed test. I did do a speed test earlier down here in the basement. I wasn't loving the speeds. I got to do the speed test. I got to figure out if it got in the right place. But
All right.
overall, I assuredly know it is an update.
All right.
That's my
awesome. Awesome.
Take it.
There you go. That brings us to the end of level 74 of the Thoughts on Players podcast. If you like what you heard, please follow and subscribe to the podcast on your preferred podcast service. You're on the Apples and the Googles and the Spotifys and the iHeart radios and all that stuff. We also, if you want to follow us on the socials, we're on Facebook at facebook.com/Thoughts on Players, like it's all one word. We are on Instagram, Thoughts.Players, TikTok at Thoughts Players, and on YouTube at Thoughts Players, where we upload video versions of the podcast every week. And also, we got a Patreon. If you're digging your boys and you want to support, hop on over to the Patreon. We've got a $2, $5, $7 tier where we offer all exclusive nice goodies. I will say this now, and I will say this for the last time. The inside review is coming. It is going to be there. It has been written, right? The gameplay footage has been recorded. It just now must be put together in a concise and engaging way. But reviews, little thoughts, stuff like that. I actually think that we maybe should post our first poll up over there as far as
Interesting.
what games we should do a Was It Worth It on.
All right. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. We'll come up with some options to see what the people want. Maybe we'll make Baldur's Gate an option, and that gives Corey another reason to go out and buy the game, even though he says he isn't going to.
I have no time. That's a 100-hour game. Don't do it, Jerry.
You got time. You'll make time for it. You're gonna make time.
You will make time.
But that is it for me, fellas. Is there anything else you want to say?
Buy our merch.
Yeah.
Wear my face.
Okay.
Yes, very much.
Black girl
Yes.
or black man, woman.
All right.
Yeah, buddy.
Well, for one, it's black eye, woman. You should know this. You created the phrase.
I don't want it.
Yeah, but
I have become
do
that.
that. Oh, you want it, and it's out there.
Destroyer of slogans.
Don't worry, folks. I'll post a photo on our socials of me holding the sticker because I actually ordered the sticker a week ago. So once I get it, I'll let you guys know it's ready. But that is it for me. Thanks for tuning in, everyone, and we will catch you all on the next one.
Goodbye.